let's talk about top shelf bets. Our favorite bets for November the 29th. I'll go first. I like Carolina. They're even money underdogs on the road in Pittsburgh. The over-under here is 6. In the same way that I think that the Panthers are a bye team among the preseason favorites in the league, the same goes for Carolina. They are still tilting, playing the right direction. They are still, just doing what they normally do, pumping a ton of shot volume and getting the better of their opponents in terms of like high danger chances and just shots in general. And they're just not getting the bounces, the saves. I think Kochekhov's been better than we all thought. He's having an impact on the season for Carolina. Kind of changes the arithmetic, but Pittsburgh, I know that they've started to turn their season around. That their numbers they're not as impressive as their kind of reputation in the market right now would suggest. So I think Carolina here, this game, the odds should be flipped. I think Carolina should be a slight favorite even on the road. So I'll take Carolina as an underdog, even money on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I like the Canes. They're still so good. I think a couple of overtime losses is really hidden that fact. I like them a lot to bounce back in that game versus Boston, and they played really well, especially if you're going to credit how good Boston has been at home. And they profile so well as an underdog. I love getting Carolina as an underdog anytime you can. They're unreal defensively. They have been pretty much each of the last 3 years, which is why I think we've seen like 5 goalies perform with above average results compared to, or on goals saved above expected in their net. So yeah, I like the Canes in that spot. I think they're still the better team, considerably better defensive core, and hopefully it'll show through and they'll get a win and not a 3-on-3 loss.
And your favorite bet, you're going to a contest where the your Washington Capitals are even money on the road with the surging Vancouver Canucks -120 at home. The over under 6.5. This starts a very important homestand for the Canucks, who don't look now, despite the fact that they've been, they started the season the way they did and never really got going, or like 4 points or something out of the playoffs of the West. The Western Conference is just an absolute joke right now. And I made this point on the NHL.com fantasy podcast that we do a collaboration on Monday mornings with, that if you are going to bet the Canucks to make the playoffs, they're like sitting around plus 230. And as I said, like they're on 21 points right now. Edmonton's 22, Calgary's 21, St. Louis, Minnesota are 22. Like that's their kind of cohort at around the last wild card spot. If you're going to bet the Canucks to make the playoffs, I would just go for it and just bet them, to win the conference or something, or Stanley Cup. Do something at a bigger number, because if they get into the playoffs, at least they could be pretty tough to get out because of their scoring depth, and that would likely mean that Thatcher Demko caught on fire. So if you're betting them to make the playoffs, what you're betting on is the Canucks to be playing well for the rest of the season. And if they're doing that, you'll like to have a big ticket at their current price on the Stanley Cup. Anyways, I've got nothing on this game. I would lean towards the Caps. You have something else for your favorite bet.
Yeah, I like the over in this game. I know we had talked, I think, a couple weeks ago about how much I like the Caps to play lower scoring hockey with the roster depleted. Now with the guys back, I think they're going to trend into playing some higher scoring games. And I love this spot versus Vancouver, whose offense is absolutely on fire lately, to keep that going. Vancouver is scoring 4 goals every game. I know that's probably not going to be super sustainable, but I don't think the Caps have the bodies to keep them entirely in check. The Kuzmenko, Pettersson, Mikheyev line has been one of the very best in the league, it's crazy, but Mikheyev's caught fire after kind of a slow start to the year after missing the preseason. I think there's just a lot of offensive talent, and there's a ton of guys that are not good defensively skating in this game, but very strong offensively. And that's how the Caps are starting to profile. And they're getting going a little bit. I think offensively, they definitely deserved a lot better versus New Jersey. And with Oshie and Carlson back, I think the power play is going to start trending up. I like this game to be somewhat of a shootout. And I think that's, for all the reasons I listed, over 6.5 at close to plus money seems like a great bet.